What's happening, guys? This is the Next Fix podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Penley, and today we have a visitor. We have a lovely guest. Her name is Sheena. She is hailing from the UK, so a bit of a time gap here, but it's all good. I'm happy to be a part of the early morning hours to embrace this experience with a very wonderful human being. And also a recovered addict. She's familiar with what we have gone through and what we've seen here, being a part of the Next Fix, being alcoholics, addicts on the better end of recovery, people that have got traction in sobriety. And so she has a few things to share with us about that. So Sheena, how are you this morning?
Hey Ryan, God bless you. Thank you, my dear, for inviting me at these early hours, dawn. And like you say, you're used to it, so I salute you.
Well, thank you.
And thank you very much. So I'm coming in from the UK. The sun is just about to peer through the clouds.
Oh, nice. Well, then it's a good day, right? Here we go. We got another 86,400 seconds to take advantage of, Sheena. So Sheena, I want to know, and I think people want to know what it looked like for you. What puts you into that category with the rest of us as an addict or an alcoholic? I think alcohol was your thing, right? Am I correct?
It was, yeah.
Right. So tell us about it. What did it look like for you?
So Ryan, an alcoholic for 16 years. Wow. Every day, you're living, eating, breathing, planning that next drink. So if we rewind the tape and we look for all the cycles and the patterns as we do, and we do that every day to remind ourselves how far we have come and how much we've overcome. I guess it all starts back in the day when, you're growing up, you're trying to be this person that you wish and you dream and you fantasize, which is all good, but there's that huge expectation. And I've always wanted to be a doctor, and you're trying to prove to yourself, to others, that you can be this person that is successful, that wants to pass their exams and O-levels and A-levels and be there in your rising, and you just can't do it. You get there in the end. But what you don't realize at the time is that you're creating that ladder and you're creating big steps for you to climb, let alone in the real world where there is stuff coming at you. So I guess at the early doors of 11 onwards, you're building this internal ladder. And as you go on in life, the steps are getting bigger and bigger, and you're having to climb up and strive and pull on. So for me, what did I have to pull on? And as I got hit in my 20s, what was there? Alcohol.
Right.
I worked up in London, which is about, on a good day, 2 hours to train. But that's where it all began. The low self-esteem, the low confidence, but the ability to strive and to overcome. That's still in me.
Right.
But,
so what I'm gathering is that so you've got a bit of pressure, societal pressure, internal pressure, probably, if I had to guess, probably some familial pressure, probably to perform, and you've got these high aspirations of being a doctor, and that's how it starts out, right? But from what I'm gathering, right, like what I'm pulling from that is that you started coping, like many people, with what's available and accepted, right? And that's alcohol. It's like, okay, you put in some work, now go get your reward, right? Is that kind of what that formula looked like?
It sure did. You strive hard, big climbs, and then what do you go? What do you go and do? So after work, you go and mix with other people. You debrief and you realize, wow, this is fun. So you don the 8-9 bottles of pills and you're having fun. That gap in between, or where you transition from school into college into uni. I got to university, I got all my certificates and diplomas, but you don't celebrate those things. You know, you become numb to anything that you've had to work hard for.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got that internal battle going on. Well, yeah, but where's my reward in this? So you seal off anything that you achieve,
Right.
because there's no reward. You're searching for that reward.
So are you saying that you were falling short, or are you saying that you were searching for a short-term reward, or at least like this? I need some kind of a piece of candy, at the end in the trail to keep me going, and here it is. It happens to be alcohol and the pub and the experience and the going out. So are you saying? Is that the more accurate depiction? Is that like you're like, okay, well, I need some kind of motivation, and my motivation is to go and have a drink with friends. Is that how it really like the alcohol got a hold of you?
Yes.
Right.
It was that physical thing. So when you get your certificates, and I graduated and I walked on stage, bless my mum and dad, their love. And I'm so grateful to blessed to have had my family support me. But it wasn't for me. That praise, I didn't feel it. I didn't know what it was like to touch. Yeah, I've really got this.
Right.
A bottle was something else. You were craving for something where you could go and internally celebrate. But that internal celebration, you had to hide it from others.
Okay.
So you open the top of the bottle and you'd celebrate.
Wow. Now let me ask you. I think before we started recording, you shared it was 16 years ago, or was it 16 years that you feel that you were suffering from a full-blown addiction?
Yeah, 16 years. So 6 of those years were, you're breezing into it, you're finding yourself. And then the hardcore 10 years. And I'm 58 now, and 19 years this March. So,
congratulations.
Well, thank you, Ryan. And you know what? The easiest thing, looking back now, with the power of spirit, was to stop, was to hit that rock bottom and say, hang on, that's not enough button. But the damnedest, hardest thing ever in my entire life was to start to live. Oh boy.
Right. So I want to know. I want to know, what was that you just mentioned? You had just said the rock bottom. So what was that? What is that scenario? Was it a particular instance? Was it? When did you draw a line in the sand? And what did it look like?
Yeah. So, meeting that drawing in the line, I then progressed into working full time. And, I was in an environment where you're meeting, royalty, VIPs, you're meeting all sorts of people. You're working with luxury goods, you're traveling to London, you've got the London scene, you're hitting your targets, your goals, you're the B's and E's, everyone respects you. And you don't feel it, Rush. You don't feel it. You've got that level of respect that people have to you, but you're planning. You are so busy planning in here and organizing that next trip, that next fix.
Right. So you're going. It sounds like you're doing big things at that point in your life. You're doing these large things. It sounds like you're in some circles that were, what would be considered high functioning type of human beings in society, and the community probably looked up to a lot of these people, and you're one of them. You're operating in there. Meanwhile, you're like, well, this is all fine and good, but I'd much rather just have, I'd much rather be 3 deep, at the bar at 7 p.m. than I am at 9 a.m. Sinking my teeth into a good deal of responsibility, right? I mean, so you're despite probably seeming successful in other people's eyes, you're just like, okay, all right, this is, I just want to get the hell out of here. I want to go have my double on the rocks and be at peace. Am I right?
You got it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're amazed within your working day how much that you can achieve for others, how much that
Mhm.
you can plan and organize and be focused and structured and not procrastinate, and just achieve and get there. And not only that, but have other people walk with you too and get the deal done. But there's that internal wheel going on, and it's like a clock
Right.
that's ticking. So
Wow.
you're in the moment, but you've also got this other life going on inside of you, and you're planning.
So,
You're watching
Sheena,
the.
how much consumption, like, okay,
Oh,
you're at work, you put in your hours, and now, okay, it's time for the release. It's time for your reward. It's time for your little piece of bliss on the path of success, right? So what did it look like? And let me share with you how, where things got for myself. I mean, I got to a point in my life where I was consuming like a liter of vodka a day. So, I mean, that's basically what my diet looked like. And, it's not, things start to happen to you biologically, clearly mentally.
yeah.
But so what was what was kind of the threshold of your consumption? What did it look like?
So I was an expensive whiskey drinker. Okay.
Mm.
So whiskey was my tea. So you come out of work and you already know what you're going to do. So you're gonna hit on the underground, get to Liverpool Street, and you're gonna buy your usual Teachers whiskey and ginger ale, and the double,
Teachers. Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
Teachers
right, right.
whiskey and ginger ale is already mixed up, and that taste and that, oh, But the downside is that it's in a bottle. Well, it's not plastic, so the bottles are
Okay.
gonna clank. And you see how you're thinking all along? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
And that's something I want to talk about, like
yeah,
later on, is that the mind of an addict or alcoholic when they're plotting, and you mentioned this several times, when you're plotting and scheming, it's outrageous how creative we can be, how thoughtful we can be when we're scheming for our own darkest desire. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the expensive whiskey because I was like what I'd like to call like a whiskey sommelier in Colorado, and I sold like Bowmore 30-year Sea Dragon and Macallan M, and I sold like these outrageously expensive whiskeys, and it was, I do respect like the craft. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I don't look. It's not the whiskey that was evil. There's plenty of very good people making whiskey out there, and they've been doing it for generations, and I admire like the craft and all of that. Me, I don't know how to have any respect for it, so hence I have to put it down. But the expensive whiskey thing was always what a very interesting industry. I've always even when I was selling it, I would have the stories behind the barrels and even I was selling space whiskey. And now it's escaping me which brand it was. It was a Scotch that had apparently been to space, which was like I think all bullshit. But you know, it's I sold a lot of whiskey like that. I said, oh, okay, no, it's gone to space, and meanwhile I'm in space because I'm so drunk. I'm like
yeah,
telling them as they're purchasing it. Anyway, it's
yeah,
so back to your kind of habit or your ritual, right? It's a ritual. You've created this ritual. You've got the bottles clanging around, and people can hear. They might know it's like how much you got going on.
yeah,
So continue on into like where this turnaround moment hits you.
yeah, sure, sure. So just going back, Ryan, I just remembered that, you know, nine, the number nine is always like an alchemy number. So I
Hmm.
would always buy 9 bottles of these Teachers whiskey and ginger ale. And pop it in the bag, and we go on the train, and do your drinking and whatnot. But it's amazing how the body can absorb it and still function.
Right.
Compared to someone else that's maybe drinking the same thing, but they're off the Richter scale. They're gone. They're gone after one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's amazing how you can train your body, your immune system, your liver, your lungs, your whole internal structure to absorb that. And still, well, I say still, but there were a lot of times where I got off 2 hours down the line, and had to taxi back to the destination.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, nine, with no judgment, because I get it, but like a person on the outside, a person who's not familiar, they think 9 damn bottles, like what are you doing? Like how absurd is that? And I get it, and I think a lot of people paying attention to this podcast, they get it. You hit it right on the head. Biologically, what's capable of our bodies in consuming poison. On the flip side of that coin, our bodies are also capable of many magnificent comebacks, bounce backs, physical capabilities. All of these. There's also this like glorious upside, But I know, and I get it though. It's like, how can the body even somehow process that? And I agree with you. My experience with being on like public transportation while consuming too much alcohol, I can say like very quickly, I was taking the bus to work, and here in Florida, right? Like you usually have to walk a good bit of ways, get on the bus, take the bus, get off the bus, walk to where your destination is. And I was on the bus and I had consumed too much. Entirely too much, and I defecated on myself. I defecated myself on the bus. And here I am, and usually when you're riding a city bus, there could be some nefarious characters. There's some kind of shifty kind of things sometimes happening. Usually people drinking 9 bottles of alcohol or something like that, right? And so I had defecated myself. So here I am. All these people just separate from me. They all just like start moving away from me, and I realize that I shit my pants. That's a reality. That's what happened, and I know that sounds a bit abrasive, but it was what happened. So in you just you'd been drinking, and at that time you're in a moment of bliss. You're thinking, here I've got all of my alcohol. I'm sitting here. You're probably having a good time. You missed the stop. Then you gotta make your way back home. You've added a 45 minutes hour to your drive or your trek home, and so So continue on as we shared a lot of adventures together,
And you know what? There's 9 bottles didn't in there, because you're constantly planning, even though. See, it's again when you look back at how incredible the brain is, that you're already in the the numbness of everything. You already hit that a number of times, but you're still planning, and you're still thinking, but when I get off the station eventually at home, what do I need to keep me going in the night and ready for the next morning? So when you get back, depending on the timings back in the day then, a lot of places would have shut down at 11, 12 o'clock. But you'd still have these off license open. So you would get to know which ones were about, and in walking distance, or you jump in a taxi and then you do the taxi route. So then you'd get another 9 bottles in terms of attachment, because you want that just in case.
Right.
In the middle of the night. So you've got your 9, you've already done 4 or 5. You've done the rest whilst you wait for the taxi or on the bus, and then, you've got your other 9 for the evening, and then you start over again. So
Right.
that's that continuous cycle. Not to mention, Ryan, the money that you're investing, which could have gone into a mortgage, could have gone
Right.
into our life. Yeah, we could have been truly wealthy by now. The amount of
Yeah.
money we invested,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
we gave into
that's
the industry. Yeah,
incredibly accurate. Yeah. And where did it really go? It's like that's how. I mean, I would say at one point it was probably like 30% of my income when I lived in Las Vegas, maybe more. Because it wasn't just like I was always out, and I would, so I would tip the bartender $100, and I would
yeah,
have to pay for some things, and then, you know, I mean, yeah, we're talking a lot of wasted financial resources.
I think,
That's for certain. So
and
you're in this trap, you're in this loop, you're in this circle of consumption.
yeah,
Um, you did you go through withdrawals when you weren't actively in that cycle?
yeah, I think in the working day, when you're coming out again, the body and the mind. As soon as 5 o'clock hits, you're up, you're showered, you're immaculate again, ready for the day. And, you've got that train, everything you're planning. So you've got the train journey, which is about an hour in. So you're going to rest, you've got your coffee. Everybody's got everything ready for you. The news agents have got it ready. The other news agents, when you get your magazine and your newspaper, everyone's waiting for you to perform,
Right.
So you'd be surprised by the time you get to the other end, you're kind of ready to go again. Yeah.
Right.
And at that point, you weren't intoxicated when you got to
Ye-
work, because you knew how much to absorb, to get the hit, get the fix, and then, right, I'm ready now. I'm ready for what the day can bring me.
Right.
And then, of course, you go again in the evening, and then at weekends, oh boy, that's when you're
Right.
really kid. That's when you're rocking up to.
So
You're not
Sheena,
doing.
how did things stop? Was it like an intervention? Did you just like say enough is enough? Did you have a moment in the mirror, or did you have a good friend put their foot down about where you were at? What did it look like when you had stopped?
Well, nothing worked. The counselling didn't work. The GP trying to scare you didn't work. Family in one ear and out the other.
Right.
There came a day back in 2005 when it was a weekend and it was a Sunday. My blessed mum, she walked in the door and she said, "You're going to kill me. You are going to kill me. I've had
Wow.
enough. You're going to kill
Wow.
me." And I don't know what happened, Ryan. I had always believed. I was brought up in spirituality, connecting to spirit. I could see spirit, I could hear spirit, I could talk to spirit. You had that attachment, love, and connection to pray to God every day. You were praying on the spiritual cup because you loved spirit, you loved God. But yet, this other cup, this spirit, this whiskey cup, you still drank and drank. But I believe and know within myself that day when my mum came in and said that this spiritual cup, even though I was still offending, I was a drunk, I was this, that, and the other, but my love for spirit never stopped. I never stopped loving and caring and giving. And I feel that when that was so full, and my mum was the light that made that cup just explode, I didn't need to drink from the other spirit cup.
Right.
And right, what I did that morning, after I eventually got out of bed, vomit, and you mentioned the dedication, the weeing, all of that, something happened. And my mum would always keep a yellow post-it on the upstairs telephone. I had the AA number, and I picked it up, and it was on a Sunday. I thought, well, nobody's going to answer. But of course, I didn't realize then that it's manned 24 hours. So,
And so you made the call, and so
made the call.
right. And now, how, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was this decision? Like, meaning 10, you were dead committed, or like, 1, you're kind of like, oh, I'll give it a shot. So like 10 is full commitment. Where are you at this point?
I feel right in that moment, and you live it every day. It was as though the wave had come in, but instead of just crushing you, it had stopped to pick you up. And it was, you were going with the wave out. You didn't have time to stop and think and, hang on, is this really happening? Am I navigating
Right.
towards the boat? You made the call. But I didn't get to see the person until Monday, Tuesday. So I knew that I had already had time to drink before. My mind was already planning, hang on, okay, spirit, you got me. I've made the call. I could never, ever, ever, ever have done that. But somehow I knew that I had time to still drink. But the connection was already there, the commitment, the connection, the wires had already fused. And I was just going through the motion.
Right. So you called AA and somebody picked up. And now you didn't get to see this person until, the week had begun.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is that your mom didn't tell you that you were going to kill yourself. She said you were going to kill her. And I think that that's a wild, there's a big difference, because I know when I was in the throes or in the trenches of addiction, people would say, hey, people told me, I can't even tell you how many times I was told by doctors that you're going to die. You're going to kill yourself. If you keep this up, you're not going to make it. I mean, every time it just bounced right off of me. Like, I mean, it was like water on a duck's back. I didn't faze me. But she said, you're going to kill her. And I think that's a big difference. I think that when you start to realize that it's not just you, that you are hurting people, and because you think, I believe it's probably true for both of us, that you think nobody's getting hurt by me doing this. I'm hurting myself maybe, but big deal, I don't care. But no, you are hurting. There's other people that are suffering, and so. So you call AA, and then so when did you go to your first meeting, or how did that look?
So I went on the first meeting on the Tuesday, and I travelled back and from work. And when God touches you, something happens. And for me, it was sat in a room in this circle that you saw on TV of all that sort of thing. But the moment that you walked in, your hand was shaking. You got the coffee and you're in your nice suit and you're thinking, well, these people don't look like alcoholics. They're not on the street. They don't look as though they're working. Well, hang on. What about you? You're working, but you don't think that other people are working. You think that other people are here because they're down and out, they want benefits, for this, for that, the other, that whole judgment. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, as a newbie in the room, I think there was two newbies in the room. And, we're going around and people are volunteering. They know that they've got newbies in the room, so everyone's a little bit more, maybe a bit calmer, maybe a bit more relaxed and a bit more inviting, and just waiting for when you are ready to speak. Are you going to speak?
Right.
Yeah. But I was totally in. When it came to me, my name is Sheena and I'm an alcoholic. Wow.
Right. And that was, so this is, that first introduction was epic for you.
That was it. And it was the energy, it was the peace, it was almost, when you walked into the room, the light coming through, the sun, it wasn't real one. None of it was real. It was a different kind of peace. And you were hearing all these different stories. And there was a doctor in the room. There was a judge in the room. There was people whose stories blew you away. But it's almost as though you heard for the first time and you could sense for the first time. You could feel for the first time in your life. And I can
Wow.
only say that that was a spiritual awakening.
That's a beautiful thing. And
Other
so,
people,
wait, go ahead. I'm sorry.
spirits,
So now, do you still go to meetings now these days? Like, you still active in the AA community? No.
right? Again, even in those rooms, even at early doors, I only lasted a year. Even in that environment, it became too cliquey. Your
Ah,
sponsors, the big book, this group is over here, these people are over there. It was just my time. Maybe it's different now. I sometimes wonder what the rooms are like now. But I got my 1 year chip, and that was it. I felt that if I had stayed longer, then I would have tripped and I would have gone back. And I would have gone back to him.
wow. So Sheena, I want to share with you that, like, so this is what I'm all about. This is exactly what you're saying. It's imperative. It's the linchpin of what I'm trying to do, and it's a progression. Because I'll share with you that when I went to AA, I had a hard time saying, I'm Ryan, I'm an alcoholic. And it wasn't because I couldn't admit it. It was because I felt when I said it, I was solidifying it in my heart. I felt like I was reinforcing the condition or the sickness or however you want to describe it. I was making it stronger by repeating it. And I thought to myself, I don't like this. And then I looked around and I thought, okay, there's a lot of people here and they're doing a good thing and they're sharing, and that's hard. And so what for me and what I've found is that people are like, well, what's next? Personally, I don't want to identify with being an alcoholic to the end of my days. I don't want to introduce myself as, hey, I'm Ryan, I'm an alcoholic. I want to introduce you. So, hey, how are you? I'm Ryan. I'm Sheena's best friend. And I'm also doing a podcast. And I also, I put out a book or something like this. I didn't want it to say, oh, hey, I'm Ryan. I'm an alcoholic. I'm like, no, I wanted to get rid of that. So I find it so intriguing. I find it it's so wild that you had, you hit a year, you got your pen, and you thought, okay, and now this is what this podcast is about. What comes after that, right? Like, I feel like if you don't have something to keep on pursuing another mountaintop, then as an addict will do, they will fall backwards. And you had mentioned that, like, you had seen like, okay, I need to continue forward. If I stay here, just kind of in the trenches, I'm in a much riskier place to fall back on old habits, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. If I had stayed in those rooms any longer, I would have gone back to the bottle and I would dipped in and dipped out, like some of the people that I saw talk about their stories. For me, and it's only my experience, but keeping it in the day, it was reinforcing, well, you've got to get from 9 o'clock to the end of the day. And if you're just keeping it in the day, then you're setting yourself up for a hit. You're setting yourself up for disaster. For me, I thought, well, I'm not going to keep it in the day. I want to live. But AA for me was to survive. And I just didn't want to survive. I wanted to live. So after I did my year, I walked away.
So what came next?
So what was the bit that filled this bit? So I was working, which was great because it gave me the discipline and the commitment. My work had changed. I had started to change, and it's true when you walk out and you get out of the morning, the sky is bluer, the trees, the greenery, everything seems so lighter and brighter. But you can't communicate. The old Sheena that was drinking, you were defensive, you were controlling, you were manipulative, you were telling lies, you were doing everything that you needed to do to steal, to do X, Y, Z, to drink. So the bit that got me from leaving AA to now was learning, hang on, where am I? Where is the real Sheena? So it was going back and finding her, and why did I control? Why was I so defensive? Why was I such an angry kid growing up? Why? There was all these whys, but yet no answers. So you had to reinvent yourself. And that was the journey. The rainbow, the bridge became the journey. And looking at self, looking at your values, challenging you. You know, the value of truth. To me, Ryan, I believe that we're all addicted. We're all addicted to something. And we all have the same values: truth, love, power, justice. But those values, beyond me, they were playing out very differently. So I had to learn, well, what does truth mean? And how is my truth playing out now? So I had to take myself through a process. I didn't know what the process was, but I just worked with spirit. I meditated with spirit. I started to challenge, well, why are you thinking like that? Why are you thinking that the whole world is against you? Why are you thinking that you have to speak in a rough way, or you have to always be right? You know, you're always looking for the negatives. Why? Why are you like that? Where's your truth? Where does love mean? Alcohol took all relationships away. You know, it left me in huge debt. So bankruptcy, starting again, da-da-da-da-da. But you're learning to live. You're learning to live by challenging you.
Right,
What does
right.
that mean? Where's your power? You gave all your power away to a bottle. Why the hell did you do that? So it was unpicking it, but going to work every day. And the people that you worked with, they got the brunt of it because you were early doors, sober, but still early doors of learning, well, who this real person is. So you were still masking, but you had decided, hang on, I'm going to chip away and chip away. But whilst you're chipping away, someone had to take the hit for it. So your workers, your colleagues, market outlet, you know, they'd already taken it donkeys years ago, but now they have to take the hit whilst you're chipping the mask away.
Right.
So
What an amazing process that you're outlining a transformation. You know.
with spirit, that's the
Yeah.
key. Yeah, for me, that was my key, was to learn how to breathe again, learn how
Right.
to meditate, learn
I
how
think
to.
what you mentioned that we're all addicts. I'm a firm believer in that. You know, I think that the addictive character trait, or however you want to describe it, it's most times attributed to a very bad part of our psyche. But recently, I think that if you can focus it, it's like an amazing tool if you can just have it directed at something useful, something valuable. Get addicted to care. Get addicted to adding value to your workplace, or creating love in your relationship, or providing time for your children. You can get addicted to great stuff. And I say this, I've been saying that there's a lot of people that are addicted. I have no doubt in my mind that, like Martin Luther King is addicted to equality. Mother Teresa was addicted to helping the poor. And then you have so many people that personally, I consider them addicts, and I'm grateful that they were. I'm grateful that they were relentless in their creative, addictive minds. Instead of scheming and plotting to get that personal dose of medicine, they were plotting, scheming, and creating a pathway to getting something really cool into the world. And so, when appropriately placed, an addictive mindset is powerful and useful. And so maybe it's like trying to make an addict, endure moderation, which is nearly impossible. It's like you can't get me to moderate a damn thing. I do everything in excess. So these days, I just do things that are, you know, that are inherently good in excess, right? That's the trick, So and not be so selfish about what I'm addicted to. I mean, that's what I do these days. And so, you had mentioned meditation, you had mentioned spirit, and you had mentioned this transformation that you had undergone, and you sound so at peace with yourself. You sound like you're at an incredibly stable and sound. What does your life look like now, Sheena? Like, what is it? What do your days look like?
So my full-time job, I work for Spirit now. So I work for me, but I work for Spirit, doing the work of we learn, we grow, we give back, and we help people. So we help people overcome that bit that I was in, that everyone is addicted to something, being stuck, they're addicted to it. In the workforce, and not seeing the other person's point of view, that's a form of addiction. So we're carrying the baggage. And the thing is that we're visitors here on Mother Earth. We're carrying all this baggage. We don't even know why. We don't even know how heavy. But yet we go out there and we make this damn big footprint on Mother Earth, and we leave a heavy vibration. So when the next person walks by, a stranger or family or children or kids, they walk in that footprint, they're going to absorb it all. So I help people go over the bridge, what their pain is, what they're stuck in. It's all in energy. The alcohol, that poor alcohol is just sitting there in a bottle. It's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. It's going to brace someone who can really taste and embrace it, or it's going to hit my throat and send me off like a crazy cheek and cause chaos and drama and devastation and trauma.
Right.
So I believe, Ryan, wholeheartedly that Spirit wouldn't put us through anything if they didn't believe that we weren't strong enough to deal with this. So that bridge, that rainbow, I had to learn it. I had to follow it to enable me to now teach it, share it. So that's what I do. I help people navigate over the bridge to what? What is that? So I'm living, eating, breathing my purpose. And I wholeheartedly believe that your purpose comes towards you once your values start to align. Right. You are speaking your truth. You know what truth is. You know what love is. You know what your power is. You know how to be creative. The work that you're doing, Ryan, you're channeling all that work out to others, and you're touching people's lives. And they're hearing what you say, what they read in your book, and you're thinking, hang on, he's got me. That's energy. Well, if he can do it, hang on. Something resonates. They may not resonate it in the moment. It may take them 5 years to do it. But that energy came from you. And you only experienced that through what you went through. But you used your power now. And this is the thing. We've got to take our power back. And what do we stand up for? What do we believe in? I don't want to be, for me, I don't want to be in AA meetings, surviving, getting through the day, keeping it all in the day. I'd be a time bomb waiting to explode. So now I help hundreds and hundreds of people come to me from all over the world who, and you know what, Ryan? Not one of them is a downright all-out alcoholic. They are all addicted, but none come as an alcoholic. They all got underlying, you start off, you go home, you open a bottle, you drink a glass of wine, then a bottle, and da-da-da-da-da. And then that builds and builds and builds and filters out into the disruption of the family unit and work. their addictions is angst, pain, trauma, da-da-da-da-da. And being able to teach them to connect with a power greater than themselves, whether that's just a leaf, the sun, the moon, the stars, the elements, connect with something greater than you, do the work, the inner work, not manifest outwardly, not sit there and pray and law of attraction and think, I want this and I want this and I'm praying for this. You've got to do the inner work, Ryan, yeah? You've got to do it. Some people don't want to, but they want. And some people who walk the journey, wow. They learn, they grow, but most importantly, and I think me and you are both here, we learn, we grow to give back. And it's in the giving back that my, oh my, done this a beautiful one to walk.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. It's so good. And yeah, you touch on so many really close, or so many topics. There's so many variables, so many elements of the recovery process, and that they're very dear to me. Embracing something more powerful than yourself, something larger than yourself. And it doesn't have to necessarily. Sometimes people kind of get pigeonholed, they get bottlenecked into the God. Oh, you're saying I have to believe in God. And I'm saying, well, how about this? Get out of your own head and realize there's a massive world with billions of people. There's this whole thing happening. It's a big, giant, beautiful dance. And so this is larger than you. This is larger than you. Now, I personally believe that it's God. This is how I see the universe, God, spirit, all these things. They all align to me. I see them as synonymous. But a person who's stuck in their own life, their own misery, their own coping mechanism, their own trauma, they're so bottled up right here. It's like, hey, I'm not saying that you got to go pick up the Bible. I'm not saying that you have to go to church. I'm saying get out of your own head and realize that there's something greater than you. It's happening. Excuse me. It's happening all of the time. There's plants growing. The sun is shining. Just like you had mentioned, all these things. It's this glorious dance. You're choosing not to be a part of it, and you might have some really damn good reasons for it. I get it. You probably got some real good reasons why you don't want to be a part of the big dance, and that sucks. It sucks. It's hard, but if you do yourself a favor and embrace what's going on all of the time, it can be this glorious place that Sheena is in, where she's embracing giving back and providing value and being a light on the world instead of a blight on the world. And so if you can get into that like love is a choice, or you can not choose love, and you can choose misery. If your heart's set on that and you're really determined, you can get it, but you can just as easily choose love, and it's not as easy for everybody. It's sometimes easier said than done. I'm well aware of that, but you're looking at two people, you're listening to two people here who have made that. Somebody like Sheena's very well advanced, so well advanced at choosing love that now she's showing other people how to do the same. And so it's such a glorious and beautiful thing. And so Sheena, you had mentioned this, it's kind of like a teaser, which is, I like it. It's kind of like a teaser. So how do people get in touch with you? How do people get a hold of you to embrace the journey?
Well, Ryan, bless you and thank you for asking. So right now I'm just waiting for Amazon to hit the live button, because the first book, Spirit to Spirit, is ready to come out, and it shows the journey, what we have to do to challenge ourselves, and that internal compass, that will proceed. We can put our hand in our pocket, Ryan, and thinking, hang on, am I speaking my truth? Am I giving my power away to someone else's battle? And you can do it in the moment. You just got to learn it. But the learning to go over here. So the book is coming out, so thank you for that. And yes, if anyone wants to reach us out and just have a chat, and they can come to my website, www.sheenashanti.info@sheenashanti.
Right, and the title?
Look out for the book, Spirit to Spirit.
Spirit to Spirit. I wanted to make sure that we got that repeated there. Spirit to Spirit. And so, Sheena, I will have links for all of this when the show when we get this thing going live. I'm going to have plenty of resources, and so I think that whether you're struggling or not, maybe if you just want a bit of enlightenment, I think you should reach out to Sheena, and I think you should embrace this journey that she's so proud of, and she should be proud of. So. Sheena, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show and coming to us from across the pond over there in the UK. And so, yes, it's been a glorious experience. Thank you for being a part of it.
God bless you, Ryan. You have such a beautiful energy, and the work that you do is touching the body. And together
Thank you very much.
Love. God bless you.
All right.